Hiya, how's it going? Long time no see. Long time since I talked to whoever you are watching this. Done a lot of videos recently of me playing, but not a lot of videos of me actually talking, so I thought I'd do a talking video today. This one's kind of about what life is like as a musician over here living in France, as the name of the video would suggest. I should start off by adding, I know absolutely nothing about Brexit. I know absolutely nothing about visas or how long you can stay in France or what you can do legally. I know nothing about any of that. So if you're looking for that information, you need to go and find another video. But if that's not what you're here for, then let me continue. So one of the things which I'm into now is making music live. It's only a thing that I found out this year. It's only a thing that I've got into this year, should I say, but nonetheless it's something which I've been doing quite a bit of research into and finding out quite a lot about, because being a musician in France is not as simple as being a musician in the UK. Now, in the UK, at least the last time I was in the UK, this is how it was. I'm assuming it's still the same today. So if it's not, please somebody tell me in the comments. But in the UK, if you want to start up a business, you can just call yourself a sole trader, start up a business. You don't even need a business bank account. And again, caveat, you never used to be able to, it might have changed. And you're a business, you can start trading. You can do gigs, you can get paid in cash, you can get paid into your bank account, and then you take care of it at the end of the year on your self-assessment, right? France does not work that way. In France, they don't have the concept of part-time sole trader gigging musicians. It's a workforce that has got unemployment benefits, that has got a specific business regime that is unbelievably complicated, and I'm still only scratching the surface, and I've been researching this for the best part of this year. But what I have found out is there's kind of two sides to it. So if you are a musician who makes a full-time living doing gigs, and you can do more than, I don't know the exact number, but it's something like 50 or 40, or it's in that order of magnitude. If you can do that level of gigs, then there's something called GUSO, G-U-S-O, and GUSO is kind of like gives unemployment benefit for gigging musicians when they're not doing gigs. But to qualify it, you need to have this number of gigs that you can definitely put out, and you can only do gigs through venues that support GUSO, is my understanding of it. Now, I have a day job and I work full-time, so the chances of me being able to do 40 or 50 gigs a year are absolutely zero. So I haven't even signed up for GUSO. So potentially there might be some venues where I won't be able to do a gig because I'm not in GUSO. Now, GUSO is not the same as the Musicians Union, although there are a lot of similarities. The other side of things is SACEM. Now, SACEM is all to do with royalties. You probably don't need to worry too much about that, but if you're performing songs and you want to get royalties back, then you need to be registered with SACEM. It's kind of like PRS in the UK. That's got its own set of regime as well. So SACEM's another thing to look into. The other way that people do things, not me personally, but the other way that a lot of musicians do things is they get paid in cash. So there seems to be a bit of a culture here of being encouraged to do work for cash and only declaring a certain amount. Now, this isn't anything that I do. I don't know any information about it, but I'm just dropping it in here because if that's what you're looking for, then maybe there's some musicians out there who can give you what you want on that. As I say, that's not me, so I can't really add anything more, but that's part of the culture and a lot of musicians do it, so it is what it is. And then the other side of it is going through an umbrella company. Now, an umbrella company, if you've worked in any freelancing work in the UK, like in IT, for example, freelancing is something that uses umbrella companies. So in the absence of you setting up your own limited company, you go through an umbrella company who would front off with the end client, deal with all the contracts, pay all the taxes, deal with all of the declarations, and then pay you net after that. I used to work with those in the UK in IT, and there are a similar thing in France with regards to music. So there's one nearby. I'll put a link to it down below in the description, and you can work like that. So if you don't want to be bothering with any of that I've just said, then you can contract through an umbrella company like the one linked below, and they will deal with the venue. They'll have the contract with the venue. They'll pay all the taxes. You agree the rate. It's your gig. There's no, you're not bound into them. You can do 1 gig or 20 gigs. If you're doing it as a band, then all the band can join as a group and you get paid individually, but they'll have one contract with the venue. And then you get paid net at the end of every month. And if you're like me and you've got a day job and figuring out all that other stuff is just too complicated, or you just can't be arsed and you just want an easy life, they take a 10% fee off the top and then you get the rest, and then it just finds its way through Social Security onto your taxes. I have no clue how any of this works if you're a full-time UK taxpayer. So if you wanted to be gigging in France, but you're still mostly living in the UK and paying tax in the UK, then you probably need to see a French accountant, one who specialises in music, I would suggest. I don't know any, so I can't recommend any, but there's differences and you might have to pay some tax in France. I have no clue. I'm a full-time tax resident in France now, so everything for me is French-based. But if you're English and full-time living in France, then all of these things might apply to you. Now, the other thing to say about all of this is I've spoken to 20 musicians trying to figure out what goes on and how it works and how to be a gigging musician in France. Every single one that I've spoken to does something differently, and every single one of them is convinced they're doing it right. I'm not going to mention any names. Everybody does their own thing, and everybody has got to do what they think is right. And if you're declaring money and you're under a certain regime, then that's fine. Other people say different, and other people say yet something else. So make of that what you will. The kind of underlying thing is there's a load of places to do gigs here. There's a massive scene of doing gigs at weddings, which I'm only just tapping the surface of. There's obviously loads of bars and clubs and restaurants and all the places you would expect to find bands, and there's loads of them about. So if you're looking for somewhere to play, chances are you'll be able to find somewhere. In terms of venues, I mean, I'm close to Bordeaux. I'm in the countryside, so there's a few where I am, but There's nothing any different. It's just another country. Still have bands, still have bars, still have clubs. They're just different. There's more cafes than pubs. Anyway, I digress. So that was it really. If you're moving from the UK to live in France and you're a musician, there's a bunch of stuff to think about. If you're a British musician already living in France, then there's a bunch of other stuff to think about. As I say, anything to do with tax, I have no idea about, I can't advise you on. The specifics of the regimes that I've mentioned, you need to dig into that yourself, because I can't advise you on that, because it's so complicated. But those are the areas where my search has taken me. The other thing as well is nobody knows anything. So there isn't a single place you can go to in the French government who will have all the answers and be able to help you out with your specific situation. There's the Chambre de Métier, who apparently can help. There's a Chambre d'Artistes, Maison d'Artistes, I think it's called. I haven't spoken to those yet. I'm told those have got loads of answers. So that might be another possible course of it. So, again, you might be one of the 20 people that I've spoken to that's doing something different, in which case, feel free to drop your own version of how this works in the comments. I kind of think this is like one of them crowdsourcing things. The end result is what you pick up from your own research, plus getting info for everybody else, and then tailoring it to your own specific situation. One final thing to say is, if you're making music online and you're getting money from streaming, or you're doing sync work and you're getting money for selling music or selling music production or anything like that, then that you can set yourself up through a micro entreprise, which is the kind of like the French equivalent of a sole trader. And that you can do, that I have done, and that works. So if you're doing that side of things, that's nice and easy. The bit where it gets complicated is playing live. That's where it's different. So anyway, good luck. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. If this type of stuff is interesting, let me know and I'll do some more. I don't really know what else I would do on this subject, but I've had a few people ask me about this recently, and I found a bunch of information, so I thought I would share it. And yeah, there you go. All right, thanks a lot. See ya.